Listen, the time that you keep wasting thinking that you're playing it safe, that you're being a good guy, that you're doing all of the right things or the things that you've told are the right things to do, you're wasting your life. You're wasting your life. You're wasting your time. It's actually destroying your relationships. It's messing up your career. It's messing up your life. And the longer you continue to settle in mediocrity, the longer you continue to try to play nice, be the good guy, and follow the advice that you've been given, it's going to ruin your life. And it's going to ruin your life faster than you probably think. Hi, my name is Jamal Kalpin. I'm the creator of The Beneficial Black Man, where I want to help black men to become beneficial for the community by improving their and learning how to manage and improve their mental and emotional health and well-being, and encouraging them to be their best and most beneficial selves for glory and for good. I've been there. I've been in this place where I thought everything that I was doing was the right thing to do. I thought playing it safe, sticking at a 9 to 5, doing all the things that people told me what is the best thing to do, kind of fitting in, being another cog in the wheel by not paying attention to those important moments in my life where I got excited or I came alive, or like how I like to call it, I was feeling vibrant and I was moving in my excellence. I chose to just sit in great mediocrity, where you're just going along. Sure, you may feel like, yeah, I'm a good guy though. I'm doing what I need to do. More or less, I'm kind of like doing the bare minimum and staying out of the way. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not too extreme like everybody else, and I'm not on the other extreme, being too lazy and not contributing anything. Like, I'm doing just enough. Like, I'm a C student. I'm a C student at life. And it seems to be okay. But it's not. It's not. Because there's parts of you that realizes, I don't like this. I don't like the way that my relationships are. They're mediocre. They're basic. There's no real thrill to them. There's no real excitement to them. If you're married, it's not as good as it once was when maybe you're engaged or dating your spouse. Right now, it's just kind of like, yeah, we kind of do the same things over and over again. My wife seems like she's happy. I'm doing okay. I spend my time working and I'm getting stuff done. I'm trying to handle these responsibilities that, I agreed to. But it's not really there. There's no spark. There's no life. And there's no spark and there's no life for you. Sure, you go to work. Sure, you may spend time watching things on YouTube or playing video games, watching your favorite sports teams and stuff like that. And life seems like it's okay. But I know you're still looking for that feeling of alive, that feeling of there's more to this than just the same old routine. You feel it in your emotions, you feel it in your thoughts, you feel it in your spirit, you feel it in your soul, that something is just off, because at one point you felt a lot. At one point you had passions. At one point you had these desires, these dreams. But maybe you were trying to accomplish those dreams. You were trying to make those things happen. Whatever it may be, whether it's a business or you wanted to get some art out there, some creativity, you wanted to do something different, something that maybe your parents told you, no, don't really do that. Or you felt like society said, no, we don't really need you to do that right now. We just need you to go get this job. We need you to go do this. We need you to do what's safe. We need you to do what's going to fit right inside of the system. You can feel that way even within your relationship. Sometimes you won't even speak up for yourself, whether it's with your friends, with your family, or with your significant other. You won't speak up for yourself because you just want to go along with the way everything else is going. You withhold your thoughts. You withhold your heart. from other people, and you just hide it and you press it down because you don't want to shake the boat. You don't, at the heart of it, you don't really want to be honest. And what I mean by that is not necessarily, you want to just go off on people and say all kinds of crazy stuff, but you're afraid that if you say how you really feel, if you say that you're scared, if you say that you didn't like something, that everything will just fall apart, or that you won't be loved anymore. You're scared that if you honestly express how you're feeling, if you honestly declare the dreams and the desires that you have, you're scared that you're going to be rejected. But deeper, you're scared that it's going to be so much work that you don't even really want to do it. So it's a mixture of fear, it's a mixture of laziness, and you want to avoid it at all costs. Because where you are, in this gray mediocrity, that's what I like to call it. In this gray mediocrity, you're comfortable, you're safe. But you know this comfort zone, this safety zone, is eating you alive. It's picking you apart, and it's destroying you. And you're, because of that fear, because of that laziness, because of wanting to get far and far, far away from having to change, having to be different from maybe what you first presented yourself as, having to be different from what your family expects of you, what your friends expect of you, or what you think they expect of you. You'll avoid it. But playing like that, being mediocre, being the quote-unquote good guy and the quote-unquote nice guy, is killing you. It's killing you. And a part of you know it's killing your relationships too. You can't keep living like that. You can't. And again, I understand where you're coming from. I've been there. You secretly have hobbies, things that you're interested in that maybe you don't want to tell people about. Because you know those things, let's call them deviant behaviors. Those things that you're interested in, those things that you wish you could spend more time doing, but you know it's just not right. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be deviant behaviors, but you would rather be doing this. Instead of your job, maybe you want to act. Maybe you want to spend more time writing. Maybe you want to spend more time riding your bike. Maybe you want to spend more time outside in nature. But you feel like, I can't really do that because I have to do this. I have to show up here. I have to whatever. I have these responsibilities. And the lie that you've believed and that I had believed for a long time is you can't really have both. That you can't have a vibrant and excellent life while still being responsible, while still being a good husband, being a good boyfriend, just being a beneficial man in general. That's a lie. You know, the society and this culture has taught us, it keeps us on extremes. Either you're being this cold-hearted, quote-unquote badass red pill and all that manosphere crap, you're on that extreme, or you're a quote-unquote simp and you just fit in your data and you just stay on this place and you just stay in the, not necessarily the straight and narrow, but like the plain and gray. That's where you stay. You can either do that, but it's not true. There is a middle ground. There is a middle ground where you come alive, where you're awake to what's going on. So yeah, you take that pill that Morpheus offered to Neo, and you come alive. You come alive and you come out of the Matrix and you be who you're supposed to be. But you don't get caught up and you don't become an op to the rest of society. Because that's the game, that's the lie. That's the lie. That either you're going to stay there and you're going to conform to the system and be part of the machine, or you become so rogue that you're divergent and then you're still part of the machine. Because now when you go on the far deep end You end up hurting the people that you actually care about. It's a lie. It's deception. And I'm here to tell you that you have to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to stop being mediocre. It's time to stop living in the gray. Those desires, those dreams, that passion, those thoughts, those feelings, all of that that's inside of you that you know is there, you have to tap into it. You have to address it. You have to let it out. You have to make space for it. Because if you don't, you will destroy yourself. And you will fail to be who you were created to be, which is a beneficial man. Which is to be a beneficial man and change the world, even if it's just one world. And that one world could be yours, or your children, or your spouse, or your best friend, or your family. You're called for more than just great mediocrity. And you're called for more than just being you're called to be more than just a red pill dick. Seriously, you're called for more than that. These are not the extremes. This is not what you were created for. To not sit in mediocrity and not to sit in extremes and be a jackass. To be mean as hell to other people, to be misogynistic, to quote unquote be this lone wolf power alpha male. That is just the opposite side of being in great mediocrity. They're the same thing. One just looks more interesting, but you're still not being your best self. You're called for more than that. And the way that you have to get there is you have to address what's inside of you. You have to be open and honest. You have to get away from staying quiet. You know you're here for more than that. You know your life is more than just this gray. They're just waking up, going to bed, waking up, doing the same thing, going to bed, waking up, doing the same thing, going to bed. You know your life is more than that. You know you have more feelings than just, it's okay. It's okay. You know you have deeper thoughts than that. You know you have dreams. You know you know you have desires. There's more there. And you know how I know you know? Because the scariest and most exciting moments are the times that you feel like you're losing your life. What do I mean by that? If you're like me, which I believe you are, your life will feel so mundane and so gray that tripping up the stairs, in that moment when you reach out to grab the rail, or you reach out to steady yourself, and your heart is pumping, and you realize that, oh crap, I'm about to lose it. I'm about to hit the floor. In that moment, that spark of life reinvigorates you to realize that I actually am alive. I am not just a robot. I'm not just a cog. But in that moment when your adrenaline is pumping and you realize that, oh wow, what just happened? Where am I? What's going on? That moment stands out to you so much because you've been living so mundane and so gray for so long that you forget what living is. That you forget what fear is. You forget what pain is. You forget what joy is. You forget what happiness is. You forget what vibrancy is. And I understand why you're there. Maybe again, like I said, you've had dreams. You've had desires. And they've been crushed. Either somebody didn't support you, it didn't work out the way it went. Or maybe you were hurt emotionally. Whether it was from like a bad romantic relationship, or maybe it was like neglect from your family, or more specifically from your father. And you feel trapped. You feel like this numbness, this emptiness, this raw inside of you. And you feel stuck and you can't do anything about it. And you feel like you can't talk to anybody about it. Because one, especially as black men, even though there's work being done, but this idea of going to therapy is still very taboo. Because we realize to be, or what we've been taught to be a man is you just need to go to work, provide, protect, and make sure everything is okay for everybody else. Not realizing that for you to most effectively do that, you have to provide and protect yourself and to be okay for yourself. And that doesn't just mean money. That means emotionally. That means mentally. That means creatively. You need to make stuff. You feel it inside of you. You need to create. You need to produce. You need to live. But staying in this place of great mediocrity, staying in this place of settling, is keeping you from doing that. It's keeping you from doing that. You need to wake up. This is not the time to consider to continue to sit around and play it safe, to ignore your dreams, to ignore your desires, to quiet and neglect your own emotions and your own mental health, and to avoid living on purpose, to settle for not being beneficial. You know that there's chaos in the world. You see it. You see that there are things just falling apart left and right. But you've believed and have been told the best thing to do is keep your head down and keep going. Put those blinders on, keep your head down, and keep going. Because you know it's not working. You feel it. Just like I said, if you trip on the steps or you trip over a curb, or this moment, maybe somebody you're walking, this has happened to me, you're walking and you have a close call. Maybe it's a car accident or something like that, and that adrenaline kicks in and you realize, oh crap, I could have just lost it. And your heart's beating and your mind is racing and you wonder, what would happen to my family if I was gone? My parents, my kids, my spouse. And you realize in that moment that like, yo, something's got to change. But we're so programmed in this gray mediocrity that even though that spark is trying to tell you, come alive, do the things, you got to live now, you got to work now, you got to pursue purpose now, you got to be beneficial now. That programming that we've learned over and over and over and again, just play it safe, don't say anything, be quiet, stay gray. It grabs you back. And then you just go back to the same old thing. Don't live like that anymore. Don't live like that. I encourage you, even if it's just right now, if you feel any inspiration from this video, if you feel like this is related to you at all, I challenge you to write down 5 things. 5 things like, I wish I would do these. 5 things. If today was your last day on earth, what are the 5 things you wish you could do? Write them down. Whether it's relationships, whether it's a dream career, whatever it is. 5 things you know in your heart that you've been quieting, that you've been ignoring, that you've been neglecting. Write them down. Write them down. Because life is to be lived, and not in great mediocrity, and not being a divergent jackass. It's to be beneficial. It's to be a creative, productive, and beneficial force in the world for good and for glory. You're here for a purpose and you're here for a reason. You know, shout out to Les Brown. There's greatness inside of you. And the time is now. You can't waste any more time. You can't. because things are moving rapidly, and you know it. You have a sense of it. That things are just a little strange, a little different. It doesn't even have to be in the great global scheme of society of the world. It can just be in your relationships. The things seem to be changing and moving differently. But you know you need to wake up. You can't keep living like this. You can't keep living in mediocrity. You can't live in this stale life. You have to change. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to do that. Listen, I appreciate you. I love you, black man, and I want better for you, because I want better for me, and I want better for our community. And I know we all need to change. We all need to do this work to become beneficial men. Beneficial black men for our community. Again, if you've got anything from this video, like, subscribe, share, whatever. If anything, just stay connected, because I want to continue to encourage you to be your best beneficial self, because we need you. Your family needs you. Your friends need you. Your loved ones need you. The world needs you. Wake up. Stop living in the gray. It's not helping. Peace.